Almost Famous. Innocence lost through living a dream over your head. So, talking about the movie Almost Famous today, it is a comedy, drama, road trip adventure, coming of age. Those are kind of the genres I would put it in. Came out in the year 2000, directed and written by Cameron Crowe, starring a whole bunch of people. I'm just going to mention some of them. Kate Hudson, Patrick Fugit. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Billy Crudup, Philip Seymour Hoffman's in there as well. A really fantastic cast and very well written. Music is awesome. Almost Famous. Let's talk about it here. It's fun, serious, scandalous, musical. No spoilers here, but I do want to try and sell you on this because it's fantastic if you haven't seen it. Basically, it's about a teen boy in the early 1970s. He wants to be a rock writer, and he gets the opportunity of a lifetime, kind of swindles his way into writing an article for Rolling Stone magazine. Philip Seymour Hoffman plays his kind of like mentor from afar, and is a wonderful character there. And basically, he gets to travel with this fantastic band that's on the rise, and go on tour with them, and try to write this story. And antics ensue. Again, we're on the road with the band at that, who's on the rise to stardom, and there's good old sex, drugs, and rock and roll. So yeah, he gets a lot of behind the scenes type of information, being the fly on the wall, and being this. It's an interesting dynamic because he's just like this like young teenage boy, so innocent and naive about so many things, and the band kind of loves him for that, but also they have a hard time trusting him because ultimately he's there to get the dirt, right? Like to sell magazines, right? Then you got to provide a really great story, and honest band makes good isn't always a great story. So I'll kind of leave it at that. I mentioned that it's definitely fun and serious at the same time, which I believe it is. And then the scandalous stuff we already talked about, I guess, or at least you're aware of how that could happen. Yeah. I mean, emotionally, what I was going through during the movie, I definitely got sad. I got angry. I was very curious as well. It so it is a fun ride for a lot of it, but then it gets really serious, and things happen, and that made me sad. But it also made me frustrated and angry at certain characters for sure. Not in a way of like, oh, these are despicable characters and I can't handle this, because I have a really hard time with despicable characters, but more in just like the conflicts that are happening are frustrating because I didn't need to happen that way. But that's life, and people make mistakes, and that's what happens. I would say if you are interested, if you enjoy 70s rock, or at least don't hate it, if you have a love of music, the art in music, and just kind of like, it gives this really interesting setup. Like it's creating the stage for conversations about like art versus like, what are you really in this for, right? Like, are you in this for the money? Are you in it for the art and the joy of creating music and the purity that can bring someone? Or are you in it for the fame, right? Are you in it for the girls? Are you in it for the access to substances or whatever, just a party? Is that what you're in it for? And it kind of sets the stage for that conversation, which is really nice as well. And I think if you're interested in that, or if you just have a love of rock music, period, I think you would enjoy this film. As for importance, I wouldn't say it's an important film in any way. I think it's great entertainment. I think that it has great music. I think it's written really well, and again, an amazing cast and good directing and stuff. So I think it's I haven't seen many movies that are in this genre. And interestingly enough, I mean, they borrowed so much from bands of the time and stuff, but the soundtrack is impeccable. It's fantastic. It's a really really enjoyable watch, and I would say it's like just under top shelf for me, just because there's not enough substance there for me to be like, everyone needs to watch this. This is so good. It's amazing. It's gonna blow your mind. Like, usually my top shelf is reserved for stuff that is way more thought provoking than this. I think this can definitely generate some conversations about the music industry and artists, and musicians and things of that nature. It's really entertaining. It's a very entertaining watch, and it's fun. And I mean, there's not, I mean, it's about relationships, but there's not a lot of like, oh, this is going to make you reflect on human nature and everything else. Like, there's not a lot of that there. I wouldn't call it shallow either. It's a real movie, you know? It's depicting what they imagined this life to really be like, and have done a lot of research. So I think it's a really authentic portrayal of the times with certain scenes and groups in that time frame for sure, and in that genre of music as well. And I think that's it. Like, yeah, Almost Famous. It's quite a good film. Again, if you enjoy rock music at all, I think you could reach back in to the '70s and really enjoy this film. I don't have anything else to say about it, but it's really fun, and it's quite good. Almost Famous.